Hello, my name is Lumos Sunil and welcome back to the channel. We're making a side-scroller action RPG. It's been a while since the last video. I took a little bit of vacation and I brought my laptop with me, so I've been doing a little bit of coding in between, but I haven't recorded anything. But now I'm back and I'm ready to go. I'll just go through a little bit of what I've been doing. So yeah, just last time we did the combat, started with the combat foundation, and we did the player health, and the player can be damaged and die as well. And we also draw the player health on the screen now, so we have a little bit of UI as well. And in between, I did a little bit of random stuff. I increased the window size because I thought it was a little bit small, especially for the video. So now it should look a little bit better. And I also upped the texture scale from 3 to 4. So it should look a little bit bigger on the screen. Yeah, it's been a while since I wrote this down, so I need to look at it a little bit. Change level graphics to be drawn as entities with proper draw layers. Oh yeah, so before we kind of hacked in the level graphics by just drawing them in the draw function. I changed that to actually add them as entities and have them being drawn as like textures, like entities with textures basically, with no logic basically attached to them, except that there are just textures being drawn. So that makes it a little bit more flexible. I also made the texture container. So just like the animation container, the texture container basically makes it easier to automate loading in all the textures and defining which textures to load and stuff like that. So we're automating all that and unloading as well. And then we have a get function that we can get whatever texture we want. So now it's much more, we don't have to manage all the textures manually. We can just add it to the texture container and then we can access it. So that's a little bit easier. Yeah, I made a simple, well, okay, this is kind of funny because I made this first. So a little bit, the goal was to make the level definition a little bit easier into an actual structure. However, I started with actually just doing it as a const without any struct type tied to it, just like an anonymous struct basically. But then I also made a actual level struct in the end to sort of make the levels. I mean, it's not a final structure, it's just for the purpose of what I'm doing right now. I made a simple structure that you can define the level, and it also handles the draw layer so that the background and the foreground gets into the correct draw layers. And yeah. Okay, and then I added a .n file. So I have some, and this is because I had several different units, or what do you call it, devices that I was working on the game with. So I have my PC at home, and then I have a laptop that I brought with me on vacation. And to be able to share the assets of the game, I'm not pushing it up with the code. I'm sharing it with Google Drive. So but the issue is also that I ended up having different locations for the assets. So this actually, I have a .n file now that you can define like different things depending on which device you're using to actually access different things. So the .n file is basically just a configuration file that is per device basically, and you can choose to point to a different location if you want. So that's something that I brought with me from the web development side, where you usually have a .n file to define things like secrets, like passwords or keys into like APIs and stuff like that. So Yeah, and let's see. So I actually made like a parser for the .env file in Zig, and yeah, I'm parsing the .env file, basically a very rudimentary parser, just to make it work and be able to work on it. Yeah, and then I added this assets root configuration that is in the .env file as well. So that's what I'm using it for. Okay, and yeah, I changed a little bit the level. So the player now starts at the far left, and the monsters spawn in equal intervals through the level. So I added a little bit more monsters. I had extended the level to have it like looped 4 times, but I also added some variations. So now there are some bumps or some height differences in the level as well. And I also encountered a bug from this. So there's a bug where you actually cannot jump when you're not on like the ground level, the initial ground level. For some reason, I'm not sure why. I looked into it a little bit, but the way I made the kind of on ground check is a little bit, maybe, I don't know, convoluted in the logic. I don't know. I haven't checked on it for a while, but I'm gonna try to fix that. Now what I'm thinking is I wanna continue with the devlog, so I'm gonna continue with, the combat foundation. So I've also, yeah, I forgot to mention, during the vacation I've thought a lot about how I want the game to be, and I thought a lot about like the lore of the game, and like how like magic should work in the game, both lore wise and also mechanically. And yeah, I'm gonna try a couple of different things, but I think I've landed in a system that I like. So I'm taking a little bit of inspiration from different things, and I'm not going to go through everything with that right now. I might add it here, but I have it written down in a document on in my document. So, um, but what I'm thinking for this video is I'm gonna add the gamepad support. So that's one thing that I want to do. And let's keep it in here as well. Okay, so I also want to improve the combat, and there's a couple of things that I haven't written down here that I want to try to add. And that is, I want to, for the combat, so what I want is kind of like a blocking system. So I want the player to be able to block with a shield. So I want to add a shield to the player, and the shield is gonna block sort of high or low, so you can duck. And I also need to add ability to duck as well. So I need to add a shield, and I need to add the ability to duck, because the shield is gonna block, like when you're ducking is blocking the lower part, and when you're standing is gonna block the higher part. And then the monster, we kind of telegraph which is it gonna attack high or low. So the monster actually also needs the ability to attack high or low. So add ability to attack high or low for monster. All right, so that's what I'm gonna focus on this time. And yeah, it's gonna be a lot of combat-oriented things, I think, in the future as well. So I'm thinking a lot about this, because I think this is really important for the game to make the gameplay really fun, and that's just what I want to focus on. And I want to experiment with different things, and just get something fun out there. Okay. All right, so let's get started. I want to add Gamepad support, so I'm pretty sure that Raylib has some built-in things for this. Now, I want to go to my initial scene. Let's go to handle input. Okay. Now, we are using these is key down things. And I think I want to replace this with basically other functions that sort of handle the input. So you can do, for example, like down or I'm having a real hard time thinking about this name because I want it to be like agnostic about what type of input it is. But okay, it's down input. I guess on or something. I don't know. It's a maybe a really bad name. I don't think we need the scene for this. We'll return a bool. Okay, so I'm actually gonna just check Raylib here. All right, so the thing about gamepads also is that they can get disconnected and connected. I'm not gonna worry about that for now. I'm just gonna grab the first gamepad. Well, actually, I don't have any gamepad connected right now, but I have one gamepad with me, so I can actually test this later. Okay, so gamepad is actually just an integer. So I guess I would just take the first one, so 0. And then you have the same kind of logic. You have like Raylib is gamepad button down. And then gamepad is 0 and the button is gonna be, wait, oh, all right, because this is gonna be an axis. So I wanna have the axis left X. This is actually, I think this is a, oh, gamepad axis. No. How can I get? Okay, so how because normally you would get like a float. Okay, get gamepad axis movement. Get gamepad axis. Oh, there we are. Okay, so axis movement, and the first is gamepad, and this actually. So this would return a float, which is, I guess, some sort of negative. I'm not sure about the maximum or minimum. I think that depends on like the configuration of the gamepad. But I would just say if this is gonna be less than some threshold, so usually you have like a dead zone. Like even if it's in the center, it might actually return like a small number. So you usually want to have like some sort of dead zone. So I'm just gonna say -20 and hope that that will work. So that's wait, this is not down, right? This is left. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna try this now. So is left input on, and I also wanna do. Maybe I'll have both of these to make sure it actually works, or maybe not actually. Okay, so let's try this. So now you'll see. Oops, what's happening here? Give it. Wait. This is C int. Okay, this is actually kind of annoying. It seems like this library that I'm using for Raylib has some weird types. So I'm not sure why it does this. I want to actually input an axis here, but the axis is defined as C ints and not I32s. And this accepts an I32. So I don't understand. They should be using the same, like, Or do I need to have something else? Okay. Cannot bit cost. Oh, int from enum. Okay. That's a bit easier. Int from enum. Okay. That was a good hint there. Nice. Okay, and that should work. Okay, so int from enum works. So that at least that's a little bit better. But they really should have. I don't understand why they have I32 as a type. They should really have the enum as the type there. Okay. Anyway, now that should hopefully work. I also I need to connect the actual thing, the gamepad. Okay, so I've got the controller working now, and as you can see in the logs, it shows like I'm pressing left, and then it shows like 1, and right it shows 0.1 or close to 1 as well, I guess. -1, +1. But when I press down, it shows also, it changes. Well, okay, maybe it's because, I'm stupid, maybe. And when it's in the middle, it actually shows like negative. Well, I guess it's close to 0. Yeah, so that's why you want to have some sort of dead zone, because when it's centered, it's like very close to 0. So what I want to do is I want to change the dead zone to be, so it seemed like it go from -1 to 1. So I'm gonna do like 20%. And we can close this now. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, and it works. And one nice thing about this also is if you're using axis movement, then you can actually have a gradient as well. So you can have if you only press it a little bit, you can have a slower movement. So you can actually tie this number to your movement. I'm not gonna do this right now. I'm just gonna copy this and make it work for the other axis as well. So I'm gonna do this, and we're gonna change here is right input on. Okay, so now it should work for both right and left. And it doesn't. Okay. Interesting. So wait, left Y. That's also okay. This doesn't make sense. It should be left X. Okay, there we go. Now it works. Now, what I also want to do is I want to have the button to jump, which is this one. So we will have is jump input on, and now this is actually a button, so this will be gamepad button or gamepad button down. Yes, and this will be gamepad 0. The button will be. Wait, this is actually a gamepad button. So we can do this. And we can say. So this is curious because this actually has this enum, but the other function does not. So I'm not sure why they did it like that. But Okay, so we can actually just say, so this is gonna be, I think, the bottom button. So I guess right face down, maybe? No? Oh, I'm not using it down here. That could be the issue. Is jump input on. Okay, I'm getting an error here. Oh, right. This is oh, yeah, yeah. So this should be the return. There we go. There we go. All right, so we got the jump working. Let's actually change this to pressed because I don't want it to be, I want it only to be edge detected. So now you can't hold down the button and just continue to jump. You have to actually touch the ground and then press the button to jump. You can't just hold it in. Okay, and now we want also the attack. So is attack input on, and then this would be right face left, I believe. Oh, yeah, and I have to hook it up. So here is that. Is attack input on. There we go. Okay, so now I can actually move around with the gamepad and it works. Okay, cool. So we got the gamepad working. There. All right, so I've made some changes to the graphics so we can add this new combat stuff and have it look at least, yeah, so that you can feel sort of what it's supposed to be. Yeah, so I added a shield, basic shield, just a quick and dirty addition here to the guy moving. I didn't add the sword when he's walking because that was way too much work. It just have to be like this for now, and I'm gonna touch up on the graphics later. But for the beginning part of developing this game, I want to focus more on the structure of the game and not much on the graphics. And I just have this so to get some sort of feel to the game. So I added the shield here, and I also I kept the old walk animation without the shield, and I also added this ducking graphics here as well. So I'm gonna add that as well. I also added the other monster attack, which is kind of like, yeah, look like this. I haven't done the animations for it yet. So, but here we can see that one of the animations at the top here, this attack actually attacks at the top level, and then I have this attack which attacks at the bottom. So yeah, that is the graphics there. And now I'm gonna add this into the game. Okay, so yeah, the walk animation has the shield now. However, we need to add another animation with the ducking. So let's do that. Let's add a new animation, and this is called the duck animation. And I believe this would be 16 by 16. And or no, 16 by 32. Yeah, and we'll delete this frame. Okay, so that is basically our duck animation. And we'll save that. So now we have the ducking animation. All right, so we're done with the player. Now we need to modify Cleat. All right, so we have attack, which I guess we could say attack top now. And we'll add a new animation which is called attack bottom. And this one will have 64. Yeah. And then we'll just add these ones here. There. Okay. And now I want to change the frame duration to be a bit slower. Or I'll modify this frame to have 1 times. And then this one can have 3 maybe. And this one also 3. Let's do 2. You know what? Maybe I'll actually add this one as well in the beginning. Now, I don't have a way of inserting a frame, so I would need to redo all this, which is kind of annoying, but I haven't actually added support for that. I might do it in the future. All right, so let's stay like maybe 3 on that, 3 on that, then 2, 2, oops. This needs to be 3 and not 3000. I will switch animation so it resets. Okay. And then I think I want to go back as well. Unwind this whole thing. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with that actually. Let's look at the top. Yeah, that's way quicker. This one is a little bit slower. A bit more like telegraphed. Let's also extend the amount of time that's in the last frame. So let's extend that by, I don't know, 2, 3. All right. And then maybe this one too as well. I don't know. 1.5. Okay. Okay, cool. So, yeah. Yeah, the top one is a lot faster. I might actually change the initial to be a bit longer, like 2 times longer. So you can actually see the telegraph a bit more, like 3 times longer. Okay, so let's save that. Okay, So now we got our animations defined, and now we can call, or we can say copy or import animations. So now we have imported all the animations. That's my script. Just basically copy it over those files. And let's run the game. So we'll see that still works. My controller disconnected, so I need to connect it again. There we go. Let's go. Oh, it crashed. Oh yeah, because I renamed the animation. So let's search for attack. And this is the monster attack. So attack top. No animation named. Okay. Oh, wait. No, this should. Yes. Attack top. Yeah, it should exist. Oh, you know what? Yeah, the animations are actually hard-coded up here as well. So this would need to be attack top, and then we also add attack bottom. There we go. Yeah, I should really have some sort of safety check there to see if the animation actually exists. There you can see, yeah, it's a lot more telegraphed now. Ah, and I got hit. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, so we got attack top and attack bottom. We need to determine if we want to use attack top or bottom. So I'm just going to say, let's just say 50-50 chance. And we would also want to have a different hitbox as well. So let's, yeah, this one, we would need to have like different types of attacks. So what we could do is we could have the state that says that we are attacking also has attack type. So let's have attack type. So monster AI attack type. And this can't really be, I guess, regenerate among all monsters. It's probably gonna be different. But I'm not gonna worry about that right now. So I'm just gonna add this here to make it work for this time, and then in the future, so this would be just a union, and in the future I would probably want to try to generalize the attack type out of this thing here, because each monster might have more than like attack top and attack bottom. So let's just do top and bottom. Or we could call it like high and low as well, I guess. So, high, low. So, oh, this needs a type. Wait, union. Oh, yeah, this is enum. Sorry. Enum. And yeah, now we can. Now we have to put it here. So, what type of attack do we want to have here? So, we want to use a random. Okay, so we don't have random. Okay, so we'll just add it then. So let's see. Let's actually, yeah, let's just add it in like the load function here. So we'll have this. Let's also add default init, and the seed is whatever. We probably, well, yeah, we need to change the seed to be something that changes, I think. So, but yeah, we'll just do this for now. And I believe there's some built-in ways of getting like a random number, but let's just keep that for now. And now we could actually get this here. So we get this random, and how it works is you can get a random number like this. So you have, you say next, or no, you say random. Well, next will give you a random number as well, but I'm just gonna do a float. What's this? Norm? Normally distributed with mean equals 0. Standard deviation 1. Okay. Evenly distributed in range 0 to 1. So this one is what I want to use. So I just want to check R if so. What we want to do is we want to say the type of attack, which is a monster attack type. So I have to say monster AI component dot state dot attack state. Okay, actually, let's just do it here. So we get the actual, we get the type inferred instead. So we'll just say if R is less than 50%, then we choose one of the attacks. So this would be high, else we choose low. All right. Cool. So now we have two different attacks that are chosen by random, chosen randomly. And we can now set the animation based on that thing. So let's have attack, let's have the animation be if monster AI dot state dot attack dot type is equal to high, then this would be attack high, else we have attack low. Okay, and now we can use this as an animation. All right. And maybe, okay, yeah, this has to be comp time known. So what you can do is say if animation is equal to, or actually we need to, this is runtime, so we would need to have this equal. So I think, wait, is there a mem equal? No. So you compare a string using this. So this would be animation, and this would be actually, you know what? We don't need to do this. We just need to move this in if condition in here instead. So yeah, we don't even need this. Okay, attack high. So we'll do like this instead. And then this would be low. Okay, there we go. That's a lot easier. Okay. So yeah, now we set this depending on, oh yeah, and we get the animation duration there. Okay, so maybe we actually do need to move this attack type outside. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna give into this attack type, monster AI component, monster AI state, attack state, attack type, and this would be if R is that, then this would be high, else low. All right, that's the attack type. There we go. And we move this thing over here. And instead of checking the attack type of the monster state, we can just check this one. So if this one is high, then we set the animation to attack high, attack low. All right. So now we should be generating a random number, and we're checking if the random number is less than 0.5. So because the random number goes from 0 to 1, this should be a 50-50 chance of, well, about 50-50% chance that it gets high or low. So what we now want to do, well, we can actually test this now, I believe. So we can see if the monster will actually choose one of the attacks. There we go. That's the high attack. Another high attack. Okay. A lot of high attacks, and I'm dead. Okay. A lot of things below 0.5. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, so it does work. However, there's some issues. I need to fix the animation because I need to fix the origin. So let's look at the attack high animation. The origin here is 16 by 0, so we need to add the same origin. That should be good. However, I'm gonna change this seed to be... Do we have like time or something? Yes. Micro... Wait, what do you want? U64? Yeah. So let's do like micro... Maybe no. Timestamp in seconds. Let's do microseconds. There we go. So now it should be different each time. So this is U64 and this is... Why is this I64? That's really weird. Like a lot of these Rayleigh... Or that's not Rayleigh. This is actually standard. Why is this I64? Is it really I64? Okay. Let's do intcast, I guess. Maybe. Does that work? Okay. There we go. Maybe. Hopefully. Yes. Okay. So let's see if we can get this. There we go. All right. Cool. So yeah, the origin works now. Now, yeah, we wanna modify some things. Yeah, so we have hertz at and hertz end at. So now when we actually modified the attacks, the like duration of the attack, we also want to change this. So I believe I changed for attack high. I actually changed the first frame to have 3 times the duration. So that means I added 0.4 seconds to that. So also now you decide to only do that. There we go. Now that's a lot better. Okay, so we need to change the timing of the other animation as well. So attack low. So I think what I want to do is I actually want to add a label here that shows when in the animation this selected frame is gonna be shown, because then I can just click on this and I can see exactly. Okay, cool. So now I added this label down here. I'm not sure if it's too small to see here, but it shows when the frame starts. So I can go This starts at 0 because it's the first frame. This starts at 0.3 because the first one is 3 times 0.1. So it seems to work, and then it increases. So I want to check this one. So this one starts at 1.2 seconds. So then we go to here, and we can say depend. So the start hertz. So we can actually define a couple of different things here. So we'll say hertz at will actually depend on the attack type now. So this will be 0.92. Else 1.2, I think it was. So that's hertz at. And then hertz duration is, let's just say 0.4. Oops. Let's actually double check this. For attack high, the final animation is at 0.92, and then this is 0.4 later. So that seems to be how it should be. And then we check attack low. So this one is at 1.2, next was 1.5. So the difference is 0.3. So we'll set the duration also depends on the attack type. If it's high, it's 0.4, low is 0.3. And now we can replace this by hertz at and hertz at plus hertz duration. There we go. So now we have these different timings. And if we test this out, it doesn't work for some reason. Okay. I needed to put some types to that. Okay, so let's see. Boom. Okay. Yeah, the timing seems to work. And it works for the other attack as well. Okay, cool. So now we got the timing correct for the different attacks. Now we want to also fix the hitbox. So let's see if we actually have like draw hitbox. Where's the enable draw hitbox? So we want to enable that. And now when we run it, we should see the hitbox of the monster. And you can see that it basically covers the entire square there. Okay, so we want to have the high hitbox to be high and the low hitbox to be low. Okay, so we have the hitbox size. That should be quite different, I think. I want basically just the tip of the monster attack to be hurting. So it's not going to be the width of the body. Let's actually halve this. Let's see how that looks. Should have the same location, just with a smaller box. Yeah. And now we can see that, yeah, it's actually pretty perfect for the high or for the low attack. But for the high attack, it needs to change a bit. Can you please attack high? No? There we go. So yeah, so we need to move it up and to the left a bit. And the offset is the one that I think manages this. So the distance should be fine. Well, this depends now on the actual type of the attack. So what we do need here is we also need the distance depends on the attack type. So we'll check the state attack. So we know it's an in attack mode. So let's do attack type is equal to high. We could actually also just pass in the attack type. Yeah, let's actually just do this. So let's actually put the attack type here. So this would be the attack type. And now we can check attack type is high. Then we do something else. We do this. Okay. Yeah, so the distance should be a little bit further. So let's add maybe 20% or something. And then we also, the rotation should be fine, but we need to add a little bit of the off, like we need to put it also a little bit further up. So let's just do offset. If attack type is high, then we have an offset of something. So I think only Y. Actually, we can do here instead. So we'll do, no, let's do only Y here. Else 0. This is constant. Okay. So only Y is going to be maybe, I don't know, 16? No, maybe 8. Okay. And it should be negative as well. And then we return rotation. So we don't actually want to rotate that. We just want to offset the whole thing by this. Okay, so let's see. Okay. So yeah, it needs to be further, a little bit further again. So okay, almost. Need to adjust it a little bit more upwards, maybe even 32. And then this one was a little bit too much, so let's do this. If I can time this. No, not right, not quite. Okay, a little bit curious actually. The hitbox. Okay, yeah, so now the hitbox actually looks pretty good. However, I think I see that, oh yeah, the hitbox is shown like during the entire attack and not during the actual attack. Like when the attack is hurting, it shows the hitbox if your hurts at, and then we can add here if we want to hide it. Attack hurts ends at is more than seen t. Okay, so now we should only see it when it actually hurts. So if I try to jump here, there we go. And I get hurt. So if I jump, I won't get hurt. But if I try to jump when he attacks high, I still get hurt. Okay. Cool. So when it attacks high, I can run away. When it attacks low, I can jump. Awesome. So that's cool. So we've got the hitbox working now. Let's disable drawing of hitboxes. Okay. So yeah, we've done a couple of things here. So we added a shield to the player. We have not added the ability to duck. However, we have the animation for it. We do have the ability to attack high or low for the monster. So yeah, and then we also want to add the blocking effect or ability or whatever. So we want to block the monster as well. But before we do that, we want to add the duck, the ability to duck. So let's go to our animations, where we have those animations. And here we will add a duck animation. We could add like a duck state. So let's do that. So we're ducking. And we don't really have like a timer for that. So that's basically you can duck and stand or whatever you want to do. Okay. So that's now added in there. Now we have these switches, and I guess this is only checking for timers. So let's just add this duck here, and it will be empty. Okay. Right, and then in our initial scene we have these state checks as well. Update player animation. Okay, so here we can copy this and put it here and call this duck, and then we set this to duck, and yeah, the rest doesn't really matter. Okay, so let's also go to handle input. So we actually want to be able to press a button to enable ducking. So let's add the function here. It's duck input on. And ducking will basically be using the axis now. So we will do get axis movement from enum. So this would be RL gamepad axis and left Y. So this is Y. And then we return if Y is, I guess, less than 0.2 minus. We'll see which, I don't know which is which, if it's up or down, if it's positive or negative, but we'll try this and we'll see if it works. So now let's see where we actually want to handle this input. So when can we duck? If we are walking, so I think ducking should be overriding walking, and walking can walk is basically if you're not like stunned or doing something else. So I think we'll call this can move instead of can walk. And then we want to check in here if we are ducking or if the player wants to duck. And we'll override with an else here for the other one. So what we want to do is we don't really have a, well, we can actually have a player direction as well, maybe. Actually, let's not worry about, I don't think we want to set a player direction when we're ducking. So let's just do this. So if we're not ducking, whoops, that was close. Okay, so state is not equal to duck, then we set the state to duck. Okay. Now I think that should be good. Let's try this and see.
Okay. Oh, I see. So okay, so two things. Basically, it's the opposite. When I press up, he's ducking, and also when once I've entered the duck state, it basically keeps the duck state even though I release the button. So we need to fix these things. So first off, I'm gonna say that needs to be positive 0.2 over positive 0.2, and then yeah, we want to check if we are ducking. So if we can move, that means that we basically do some things. I also want to check here if the state is walk, or I guess we actually we want to have an or here. If the state is duck, then we set it to idle. So whenever we release the button, we should actually go back to idle here. So I think, yeah, I think that should be fine. There's a lot of else ifs here, so I'm not sure if this would work properly. But let's just test it out and see. Okay. You can even duck when you're jumping. That's funny. I mean, I guess it's fine. Maybe it's a little bit too. Maybe I'll adjust the dead zone a little bit here because it's far too easy to enter duck mode. I feel like you're trying to move, and he starts to duck instead. And also the way I'm using the controller, it feels like it's easier to duck when you're going to the right, but maybe that's just my orientation of the thumb that's a bit weird. But now it feels a lot better. And you can even duck while jumping, so that's funny. And yeah, you're entering duck state. Yeah, this feels really good. It's not that clear that the high and low. Yeah, I mean the shield is going up and down, but it's not really by that much. But yeah, cool. So now we've got that, and let's turn on the collision boxes, and you can see that even though we're ducking, the collision box is still high. So I think we also in the future want to change the collision box of the player when you're ducking as well. But I'm not going to worry about that for now. So yeah, so cool. We've got ducking done. That was way quicker than I anticipated. Okay, so yeah. So the last thing that I want to do in this episode is I want to add the blocking ability, which means basically that when the player is facing the monster attacks. So those two conditions need to be met, and the monster is attacking high and the player is not ducking, then the attack gets blocked. So this is probably gonna be and also the corresponding situation for the low attack. So this is probably gonna be done in the monster system because this is where we actually damage the player. And I mean, it depends on kind of. You can have like a generic like attack system that handles this as well, but I'm just gonna add it here, and we'll update things as we go along. So you could have like maybe a way to get the player AI component in here and get like the hitbox or the hitbox for the shield and check if that matches. So that's probably a good way to do it because you probably want to have a hitbox for the shield since in the future, when we may implement some sort of projectile attack for the monsters, you want to see if that actually hits the shield first before the player. And so if it hits the shield, it gets blocked. And so it's probably good for like a future as well to have a player shield hitbox. But I'm just gonna do this really simple for now. So to make it work, so I can test this specific scenarios. So we have this player. Okay, so here we have the player. If it's hurt, then we continue. We also want to check then if. So do we have the direction in here? No, we need the direction component. The player direction. So this would be get horizontal direction from the entity. Yeah. And that's the direction. So we need the direction because the direction needs to be opposite of the direction of the monster. So we have the direction, and then we want to check if the direction is opposite to the monster. So I guess we'll just check if the direction is not equal to the monster direction. Do we have that in here? We do. So let's do direction dot direction. So if they are not the same, then that means they are opposite because they can only be either left or right. Yeah. So if they are the same, then that means that there could be a block happening. So I'm just gonna label this block check here. Okay, and then so we have that. Now we need to check if the player state is duck and the monster attack, which we have the attack type, so we can just say attack type is equal to low, then we can continue. If player state is not equal to duck, that means is not ducking, and the attack, okay, so I just realized something, that since you can duck, and since there's other ways of having the shield actually, if the shield, if you're jumping, for example, then the shield actually changes position. So that's a further argument for actually implementing a hitbox instead for the shield, and check hitbox against the monster hitbox. But yeah, let's just do it like this for now, and we'll test that. So if that is not, but also we should be checking, like, the state should be duck, but if the player's attacking, that means that the player is actually eligible for that means that the player is basically removing the shield to attack, which I've heard that that's actually a really bad way of fighting. You basically want to have a shield blocking at all times, like in real combat. But this is a game, so it needs to have some sort of strategy or some sort of gameplay, I guess. And this is like a common way of doing it. So let's just do it like this. So okay, play direction. So we can just add a check here and say if the player's state is attack, so it needs to be not equal to attack. Okay, so now the player state is not attack. That means that we could have a shield, and if we are not ducking, then that means that we block high attacks. If we are ducking, that means that we block low attacks. Okay. And I mean, I guess that should be it. So let's try this. And let's see if my reflexes are working. Okay. Boom. And let's see if it works if I'm not. Yeah. Okay, cool. So it actually works. That actually feels pretty cool. So yeah, that works. Great. All right. Okay. So that went way easier than I thought, but it's very rudimentary and it's like doesn't really take into account if you're jumping or not, or even if you have different like height differences between you and the monster. So if the monster is like standing, it basically assumes that you and the monster are on the same level at all times. So if the monster is like standing on a ledge and you're slightly below, then this doesn't work. So we would need to implement a shield hitbox as well for the player. However, yeah, not in this episode. It's probably gonna be like a separate entity with a separate body that you can hit. So yeah, but yeah, we got it working, and now we can actually just test combat a little bit, and yeah. So I mean, these guys are really simple because you can just, if you're quick enough, you can just move forward and hit them 3 times, and they're gone. But yeah. So I mean, in the middle of attack, you can stun them because they're so slow. So. And here's also the bug where if you're standing on top, I'm trying to jump now, but I can't because there's a bug. Okay, cool. Oh, so I got hit there by attacking while the attack was still active. Also here, you can't actually go over this since I can't jump high enough to get over, which is kind of funny. Okay. Well, thanks very much for watching. That's going to be it for this episode. So, yeah, we got a lot of things done. We got gamepad support. We added a shield to the player. We added the ability to attack high or low for the monster. We added the ability to duck for the player. And we added also a rudimentary blocking ability for the player as well. So, yeah, that's gonna be it. And next time, I'm probably gonna continue with adding more combat stuff. We're probably gonna implement the shield hitbox thing. I'm running out of time here, so I just wanted to get this working and see like how it feels. And I have some ideas about magic in the game and like how we can use magic to get different abilities. But yeah, that's gonna be maybe for next time. We'll see how far I'll get. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this time. Thanks very much for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.